And welcome, everybody, to professional bowling history, the stepladder final of the first PBA, PWBA, and PBA50 Jonesboro Trios event. Along with Patrick Martinez and Chase Kaufman, he is Craig Elliott. I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us. Craig, we're down to our top 5 in the stepladder finals. We've got high seeds, we've got low seeds, we've got 5 bowlers looking for their first title, and we have Hall of Famers who have a suitcase full of titles. It's a really exciting mixed bag.
After 3 days of competition, to me the story is those 5 players with a chance for their first title. 2 of them will bowl for their first title regardless of what happens in the other matches. Alexis, Runk, and Justin Knowles. We've seen Justin on shows before, never as a 1 seed. And they've got a legend, a Hall of Famer, Parker Bohn III, as their captain.
Of course, the big strategy is going to be here. Who's going to start? Because if you start, you finish. Will it automatically be the PBA player, or maybe it won't be? And talking to Brad Miller, they're talking about using Mika Koivuniemi, Hall of Famer, as the anchor.
Yeah, we asked Brad. He said, absolutely not. It's Mika. I don't care. It doesn't matter who's got the look. It's going to be Mika.
Yeah, so will it be the tried and true like that? It's going to be an interesting experiment to find out with 3 people in a Baker format. It's the traditional Baker that you are used to. We are about to get our first match underway, so let's get right to the lanes and get you set up. Here are our top 5. This first match is going to be from the PBA50 Tour. Tom Hess from the PWBA Tour. Bryanna Clemmer and François Lavoie from the PBA Tour. They were plus 443. They're the 4 seed. And then it will be Dan Knowlton, the PBA50 Tour. Danielle McEwan, fresh off of winning a team format event in the doubles at the Lucy. She has 3 titles as a doubles player. So,
back-to-back even.
Yeah. So, and one of the guys looking for that first title right there in the foreground of the blue, Brian Robinson, B-Rob from Morgantown, West Virginia. The winners will take on, of course he's the 3rd seed, PBA 50 superstar Mika Koivuniemi, his 6th straight appearance on a BowlTV stepladder. And he'll be joined by the ebullient Crystal Elliott. And, of course, America's man, America's guest, Brad Miller. The number 2 seeds were the 16th seed when this whole thing began. Sean Rash from the PBA Tour, John Rakoski from the PBA 50 Tour, and Bryanna Coté from the PWBA Tour. And then you mentioned the number 1 seed, Parker Bohn III, over 40 national titles, and 2 bowlers who will have 1 game to get their first national titles, Alexis Runk from the PWBA and Justin Knowles from the PBA.
And interesting, we talk about the 16 seed, Rakoski, Coté, and Rash. You know, Breanna had to double to get into the top 16, so she knew what she had to do. But Rakoski and Rash, they were convinced they were out. They were done. I mean, Rash was figuring he's first guy out. Rakoski, we talked to, was in the parking lot. You know what? Chip in a chair. Here they are. Made the best of it, had a great starting game, and they're the number 2 seeds here with a chance to potentially bowl for a title. Rakoski, of course, our reigning senior Masters champion.
So it's going to be fascinating to see the order that these folks chose. Now, in the position round, the only team that didn't go with a PBA bowler as the anchor, as the starter and the anchor, was this team right here, the 4th seed, Hess and Lavoie and Clemmer. Tom was the leadoff. And that was because, according to Frankie, the boards were just better for him. Frankie was worried that if he got too wide and it didn't come, he was going to split. So it just made more sense for Tom's game and for Frankie's game that Tom be the anchor. On a fresh condition, that may change, but we will see.
That was a pretty cool explanation. You know, Frankie just said, look, Tom's miss is still going to be a makeable spare. My miss could be anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to deal with that.
And they were right. And they were at that point trying to hang on to their spot on the show. The position round ended up holding serve. Nobody moved in the position round, but you never know that going in. So. And you know what? We're not messing around tonight here on BowlTV because we are ready to cut loose poll number 1. Who wins? Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie, Knowlton, McEwan, and Robinson. Your call.
Holds 5 PBA National Tour titles, including 3 majors, winning the U.S. Open twice, François Lavoie.
A little bit more practice. The players have been introduced. The crowd has been in place for a while, so they're ready to go. They're just about as eager as the athletes are. And also, we will have our traditional stepladder T-shirt giveaway, so I don't think we've forgotten you about that. Not one. Actually, you know what? We should have done 3 in honor of the event. I'm an idea man. I don't.
Well, maybe we need a poll for that. Should we do 3?
I just think, it's the trios. Come on, man. Let me get in touch with marketing on that. Get me marketing.
All right, a couple light shots now. Watching for Frankie. The higher seed is going to get lane choice, so they will stay on whatever lane they pick for the entire game. 2 of the players will bowl 3 frames. 1 player will bowl 4.
And one thing you pointed this out, Craig, is going to be interesting to watch. Once these lanes start to break, they break on this 40-foot Amleto Monticelli pattern, but this isn't what we played on a week ago. I mean, it is, but it isn't. This house completely different, and so right-handers have been practically sitting on the ball return when they're on the right lane. And, of course, when they start to move left, if you're right-handed and you're on the left lane, you could literally go to Little Rock and not have anything in your way. So it's going to be interesting to see how whomever is going to be in charge of that lane choice.
Well, or do they employ the Angelo strategy that we had in the Stepladder last week? Just play right up the boards.
No, create your own.
Yeah.
It just about worked for Brad. He was maybe one good shot away from nailing it down. So good point.
Knowlton and Hess both have wins this year. Hess has 2 on the PBA 50 tour. B-Rob, of course, we mentioned, looking for his first title. He's got some regionals. He was a one-hander for a long time. Decided, it's been maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 years now. He said, you know what, I'm going to go two-hander work on it. And he's had some really good success since making that change.
Tom, number 2 ranked on the PBA 50 tour behind John Jano, has actually 3 titles this year, his most recent one being at the World Series of Bowling. And in the Player of the Year race on the PBA 50 tour, this has no factor. There will be no points awarded for this. You do get a title. Everyone who wins will get a national title, but you will not get any points. So Tom can't gain on JJ. He and his partners did make match play, but did not have a particularly great match play run, finishing in last place.
So this would be great to be a fly on the wall there. The team's making the decision, okay, what lane do we want and what order do we want? They're having a pretty in-depth discussion down there. Looks like they're going to choose the right lane. The team of Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie.
Well, they're just putting in the names. So we're
had good crowd support all week. They had a couple of nice pro-ams kicking off the action. Once we got into town. And this Saturday night here in Jonesboro, the bowling fans are here and ready.
All right, our number 4 seed has elected to bowl on the right lane, and they're going to start the match, which means they will finish first. It's a little opposite from our normal layout since we're going on one lane.
And as we kind of thought, and as he kind of thought, looks like Frankie's going to go first.
He does have 2 U.S. Open titles on his resume, including a 300 in one of those matches on TV for the U.S. Open.
No, I'm a big fan of his game, as I've talked about earlier. I just love the shot-making quality he has. And in the first poll, 58% is going with the Hess, Lavoie, and Clemmer combo. Scores here have been cranky at times, and we have to be honest with you about that. It's hard to predict how this is going to be scored. The conditions change quickly, and you're talking about different rev rates on the same team, different styles, different preferences, different equipment. They've had 16 games today to get used to each other.
Looks like Knowlton going to start for his team.
All right, Dan Knowlton's going to anchor. That's...
Yeah, I like to make predictions, but I'm not. I got nothing right now. We've seen scores all over the place. It's hard to guess how things are going to start out here. We get good scores game one. Could be a high-scoring step ladder, or it could get very, very challenging for these players.
This is, I mean, of course, spare shooting is important, naturally. I think it's got an absolute premium here. I don't know if we're going to get anybody dropping front 8s and front 9s and shooting 279s. I'm not saying it won't happen, but we didn't get a lot of that over these days, either in the individual qualifying or today when these teams were chosen or actually put together. And they were put together by seeds. So, for example, let's see, Hess, Bryanna, and Frankie each finished 4th in their qualifying, so they became a team. That's how it was done. The number 1 team and the number 1 qualifiers. 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on down the line. So that's where we're at. You don't have to worry about Bryanna Clemmer getting cheated. She will give you everything.
Yeah, Breanna has one of the strongest ball rolls and strike balls on the PWBA Tour. Danielle McEwan, one of the most consistent players for several years out there.
Yeah, she is a show-making, cash-making machine. She's always around in competitions. Player who with such great international experience, years on Team USA, so she rises to the occasion frequently. Of course, PBA50 fans well aware. Tom Hess, 3 titles this year. Been a dominant force on that tour since he joined. And rolls it pretty well himself. He's going to get stuck with a single pin here, but a high percentage that he'll make it. Tom with wins on the 50 Tour this year at the Granville Financial Open, the Fort Myers Classic, and most recently, just a few days ago, the Monticello Classic.
About 17, 18 out to maybe 8 or 9, and comes up just a touch high, and that 4-pin does not cooperate.
Ryan Robinson, one of those bowlers looking for his first title nationally. Take a look at this 40-foot Amleto Monticello pattern, and a week ago it played so differently.
Yeah, different center, different oil, whole different conditions as far as it was broken down. But we've seen some good scores and some challenging scores at times. 27 mils, 4.42 ratio on the left, 4.68 on the right. Shot for B-Rob, can't get the 10 to go. Brunswick Connect oil this week, so a little bit thinner oil. Which kind of penalizes some of the errant shots, right? It gets a little slick out there, and we've seen a few balls actually go in the channel. And then several balls, right? When it starts hooking, they really start hooking. So we're going to see, as we talked about earlier in the Open, lane choice could be crucial in these later matches, as far left as you need to get for some of these players with their feet. So keep an eye out for that.
Brian, 35 years old. Has won on the regional level. And notice the difference with two-handed approach, but a one-handed spare shooter.
And he's been out the last couple of years bowling every tour stop, going through PTQs, getting every event he can, and just working his butt off to try to get that win. And could happen here in Jonesboro today. Big fan favorite. A lot of friends out on the tour.
Yeah, if he pulls this off, this will be popular, no doubt about it. Man, that's not cool. 5 career PBA Tour titles for Frankie, 3 majors, couple of U.S. Opens. From Quebec. And a great college career at Wichita State as well.
Oh, and how about that? The one here in Jonesboro.
The PBA Extra Frame Greater Jonesboro Open in 2017. That was his 3rd title. Won the Open in Vegas, won it in North Carolina, won the Kia PBA Tournament of Champions in Jupiter, Florida 3 years ago. That's his last victory. That's a Dan Knowlton strike we're used to seeing, although very often Dan is the guy who just stands and fires it up from the right-hand side, but he's adjusted beautifully. And he is known on the tour for his genius with urethane, but haven't seen a lot of urethane over the last couple of days. And Dan, with 2 titles on the PBA50 tour, is adapting quite nicely.
Yeah, the urethane just wasn't really in play for too many players. A lot of guys tried it. A few ladies that it just wasn't quite consistent the way they want it. Clemmer. Nice shot.
Yeah, she has 1 title on the PWBA tour. She's been dealing with some injuries from time to time, too, that have kept her from adding to that but talent level. You kidding me? So,
well, the title she won, she did it with style, too. Set a scoring record. Shot 879, back-to-back 300s in qualifying. Pretty much dominated that tournament.
Yeah, it was pretty appropriate she won. Danielle's ball sneaking in there, and a little tap 7.
A little excuse me strike, but you know what? Okay, take it.
Nah, she's not likely to return that one.
Does anything hit the 7-pin? It just,
yes.
I'm getting out of the way.
Head pin. Yeah, it's the head pin. Head pin collided with something else, maybe the 5. It wasn't completely cleared out. So you see the ball return situation we talked about. You see where Tom is.
He's got his attention star, one of his favorite nuggets to throw down the lane.
And his messenger cuts in front of the pin. Also doesn't seem right.
More of a 17 to 7-ish. Yeah, it just comes way in front of it.
Well, some pin clipped that head pin too and kind of drove it away. If that had not happened, I think Tom might have been able to get that strike.
Tom, an excellent spare shooter.
As good as any, certainly on the PBA 50 tour. And he could probably teach some lessons to some of the younger players.
So a big shot for B-Rob. They can take a nice little lead halfway through the game with a strike here.
He's relatively new to two-handed bowling, if I remember correctly.
A few years.
Yeah.
But didn't grow up doing it. There you go.
Wow. Good
Some
referee
pin action.
Yeah. All right. Gotta love it.
There's that $1 million smile.
Standing on deck, Brad Miller, Mika, Koivuniemi, and probable PWBA Rookie of the Year, Crystal Elliott. Need a strike here. Okay, no problem.
You know, we talked about how fun it would be to have heart rate monitors, on the players. It was even fun watching the Olympics. They had them on some of the athletes' parents.
Well, soccer players wear them all the time.
I think would just be almost flatlined. He is so calm all the time.
Even when you talk to him, he's just a level-headed dude. That's just all there is to it. Well, this is the all-new Dan Knowlton, Mr. Reactive, and that's not proper.
He made a little move on that shot, and as we've seen the players talking this week, when you move, it's not the 2-board moves, it's the 4 or 5. You move 2, it just hooks more. And he made a little jump there, and unfortunately, 9-pin doesn't want to cooperate.
Man, that was rough. That was rough. Possible 249 for KMR and HCL. 248. Oh, let's do that. Let's take this thing to the 10th frame. Yeah. You might just want to have the other two guys go sit down.
I think they will oblige, though. Let's make this interesting, right?
Wow. Well, you can't complain about what she did. That looks trouble. And that's the first big problem of the day.
We've seen this made a few times today, I believe, actually. So how about a third?
It just kind of ran out of gas, made a little bit of a weak turn. Here she goes for it. She really kind of has to go for it, but she takes two. And so a big opportunity here if Tom Hess throws a strike. He's had a couple of 9-pins. He's been in the pocket. He just has not had 10 go back yet.
Yeah, see something we didn't really think about here with all the bowlers on the pair. A lot of bowling balls up on that.
Oh, it's hilarious. So we haven't really had that camera angle until tonight. But yes, in watching the games ending and pretty much all at the same time and the traffic jam that would develop with people picking up their equipment and moving and all that was pretty funny. Yeah, I thought that was coming. That's a big three-bagger for Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie. Now the best possible score here is 2 1/4 for Knowlton, McEwan, and Robinson. They are going to need a little help.
Yeah, Hess, Clemmer, Lavoie, pacing 228. Well, they just stay out of trouble on the 10th. There's not a whole lot that Knowlton, McEwan, and Robinson can do here. But you know what? Throw the back 4. Make them earn it.
Nope.
That lane is just hooking. All 3 players. Hook, hook, and more hook. If you're Mika, Crystal, or Brad, you should be watching that because that lane is getting a little sparky.
They get lane choice, you know.
So for practice, each player will get 2 shots on each lane. Then they'll have to determine which lane they want. And a little twist that I heard. So let's say Mika's team picks the right lane. Well, then Hess's team will each get 1 shot on the left lane since they didn't bowl on that lane at all.
Okay, that's only fair.
Something different than normally for our Stepladders. Usually the winning opponent does not get any practice shots on the lane, but with this situation, only using 1 lane, seems appropriate. Any mark is a winner.
And it's going to be the number 4 seed, Tom Hess. Bryanna Clemmer and François Lavoie moving on, and they'll take on the 3rd seed, Mika Koivuniemi, Crystal Elliott, and Brad Miller. So a 5th place finish for Knowlton, McEwan, and Robinson. And looks like B-Rob's going to have to wait another day for that first national title. So those of you who picked Tom Hess's team, you were right. The match turning on that 6-7-10 split in the 8th frame. Otherwise, we were headed for the possibility of an unbelievable showdown finish. But I tell you, the MVP of the winning team here had to be Clemmer.
All she did was strike.
3 swings. That's all she took. 3 arm swings and buried.
Let her bowl anchor.
Buried them. Those weren't like, oh, that was close to being a disaster. No. Those were 3 home runs right there. Yeah. Didn't take long for good old transition to show up.
Well, they like this lane. They made the choice to start here for some reason, but they probably have the lower rev rate of the two teams, but we didn't see the right lane get as chopped up as this one. So let's see how this plays out for the rest of the step ladder.
The 237 to 193. So far this thing is holding the form. It held the form in match play in the position round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 didn't budge, and 5 finishes in 5th. Don't know if that's a sign or just an oddity. So a little bit of practice for the number 3 seeds. And I'm sure they've been paying a lot of attention to that last match, knowing how volatile these lanes are here. What a shock. The number 3 seeds are taking the right lane. Let me also announce the number 2 seeds will be taking the right lane, and the number 1 seed will be taking the right lane, although they've got 2 lefties. That number 1 seed of Parker Bohn, Justin Knowles, and Alexis Runk.
Yeah, lane choice for that team might be up to Alexis.
Yep, she's the lone righty, which is ironic if you know her family history. Here we go.
Oh, get out of there.
Wow.
Ben.
Are you kidding? I thought, oh, that's a bummer. That's a 7-10. Too bad. Oh, never mind.
Optimum idle for Mika and optimum carry right there.
And he kind of likes this going in. And then, oh, the back tap on the 10 is what's really ridiculous. And the pole winner here was the Koivuniemi kids. Oh, what a pretty shot by Frankie. Who says this lane hooks too much? He does not. A man for all conditions. Our first look this evening at Crystal Elliott.
Yeah, and being a rookie, bowling for her first title here on the PWBA Tour. Well, she's bowled for titles before, but a chance to win it. She's no stranger to being on the lights. She's bowled on TV several times in college. Won a national championship this year. She's going to be right at home, and this is her job. She was adamant telling us that earlier this week.
Went Brooklyn there, leaving a couple behind. Yeah, she's 15th in earnings on the PWBA Tour this season. 13th in points. Way ahead in the Rookie of the Year race. 11th in average. I mean, she's all over the board. She's like one of those basketball players that fills up a box score. And has had 1 championship round appearance.
Just get used to seeing this young lady bowling for titles.
Yep. Bad break there. Maybe a touch of nerves, possibly.
I think it's just more of the hook. Watch this ball kind of stands up.
Yep.
Right there, you expect it to just skid, and it just stands up a little bit. And both lanes are starting to break down.
And a non-strike, finally, for Clemmer. And she was fortunate, much like Mika was, to break up a split. She broke up the big 4. Breanna this year, 26th in points on the PWBA Tour. And 1 championship appearance. But the early advantage goes to the 4 seed. You see what's at stake there. The prize fund, $30K to the winning team, and so on. That's shared.
Nice trophies down there as well. Big cups. Yeah. And banners for the winners, if they don't have one already.
So a little heat on Brad to throw that after the open frame. Got a late splash on the 8-pin. Pretty. All right, Tom Hess is really good these days at controlling his speed.
Tom is just really good at bowling these days.
I'm aware of that, yes. And you are not wrong. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Played that perfectly. He learned from that one practice shot that kind of went through the nose a little bit. He just got it out farther right.
Mika with a late tap on the 7 and 10 frame number 1 when he struck. Let's see what adjustment he makes here. Give a little more room, and 7-10 doesn't
Whoops.
go. He did make this last week in Jack 60.
Yes, he did.
And neither one of these pins even wiggled. Replay here on this 7-10. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. He had a crack at that in the first frame, and the 7-10 tripped up, but not. That was very unfriendly. He knocked the 7. No, that's a total whiff. So Crystal Elliott's going to be asked to bail him out. And Frankie has a big gift here. 2 open frames and 4 for Koivuniemi, Elliott, and Miller. In the distance, you see Sean Rash. He and his team next. Nice. 3 out of 4 for the number 4 seeds, and they are off to a great start compared to their opponent. And the margin for error for Crystal Elliott and her team virtually 0 now. And the one thing that's been, because this has been a tough house, you're not seeing these huge finishes of 7 or 8 strikes in a row on the back end that can completely alter a game and can erase a deficit. That's just not been happening.
Yeah, just thinking back to match play, a handful of 6-7 baggers.
Not even, and even when they man in individual competition, when they were just bowling as themselves, not with teams, it just wasn't going on. But it only takes one to start.
Baker is a momentum game. You got to go in the right direction. Things can go good for you.
That's more like it for her. What hook? There's no hook in this lane. I'm just going to fire straight at it. I don't know what you people are talking about. Well, Brad's going to have to come up with a personal double right here.
Getting that ball up in the ball return, regroup, and starting over.
Yeah, he has hand out like, don't overdo this, but he just absolutely striped it.
That was a quality shot right there from Brad Miller.
And really, it has to be. Their max is 234, and
Yeah, if Tom strikes here, they're going to be up 46.
yeah. Crossed it over just a little bit. This thing really takes off.
Looks like he kind of had played the same line, got to the spot, but when it went, it went.
I really thought that ball was going to strike in the traditional pocket about 3/4 of the way down the lane.
Making a ball change the adjustment here.
Well, he's had a near 710 that struck, and then he had a 710. And if ever there's a team that needs another strike, there we go. That man does everything.
Kelly is everywhere.
I feel like he could change the oil in our rental cars.
Oh,
It would take him like 10 minutes.
Could gas him up for us during the match. That'd be great. Nope.
Through the nose. And a little spinner to take that out. No,
it owes him one. Come on.
Yeah. So that didn't work.
Yeah, that never
I don't
really
think that,
got there.
Yeah, I don't think that had a chance. It wasn't far right enough. But that makes life a touch easier. That extra pin for count, just for fun, but still, they're already running out of frames. So when does Hammond start? When do they have to start practicing at Hammond? So today's Saturday. Mika will get a whole day off from not bowling. Because he'll have Sunday for travel and then Monday when they start to practice in a pro-am.
Okay, we're starting to see a little bit of issue coming up on lane 17 now.
Well, that was what I know we both agree that the KEM team, Koivuniemi's kids, thought was going to happen. That's why they picked the right lane, thinking the left lane was drastic, and it's starting to become so.
Oh, 100% the right choice. You just don't expect those 710s to be a menace.
No, and you had I think a makeable for a pro, a 310 that wasn't made by Elliott. So.
So the Hess Clemmer Lavoie team pacing 217, 213 to max. Poor Team Mika.
They're going to need 5 in a row just to have a chance. And that still may not do it. On deck, John Rakoski, Bryanna Coté, and Sean Rash. Oh. Should have been better than that result for Crystal. So many bowling balls. Well, the next big event for the PBA guys will be the league in September. The PBA50 tour continues on BowlTV in Hammond, Indiana next week on Tuesday, and that's the same day that the PWBA starts their tour championship. There's a lot going on in that week. BowlTV will have coverage starting on the 6th, and then on the 13th, a week later, you'll have the Stepladder final on CBS Sports Network. Dang. We need to have an MVP award named after a famous bowler. We have the Mark Roth MVP award for the PBA League, right? So who could we name an award after? Just think about our MVP, because I know who, and obviously you and I would be voting, and I'm sure Chase would like a vote too. Chase, our silent partner here, running the controls. Yeah, she's been spectacular. This not spectacular.
Really, the only errant shots. I mean, ball change for Mika didn't work out for him, but just that 310 from Crystal. Other than that, they've been in the pocket. It's just not getting the carry.
We are just about it here, right? 61.91 is all they can do. And strike up here.
Yeah, 9 out be 194.
Yeah.
So Tom's
Are we going to have another bowling?
Yeah, Tom's going to get a practice shot in here. And there's Kelly taking care of spare balls again.
Look what I love it, Kelly.
That's our award goes to Kelly.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it the Kelly Award. The MVP of the trios will be the Kelly.
So this is a veteran move, though. Tom knows they may not get any practice, depending on which lane they get stuck on. So try a different ball right here. Right? They just need solid count the next couple of shots.
And so the strategy now, do you keep them on this lane?
It all depends on what the other players have for a look. The team coming in, really.
Well,
at this point, with one game, you got to go with what pair you've got the best.
And that's going to be your game. So Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie will head into the next match against Rakoski, Coté, and Rash. It'll be a fourth-place finish for Koivuniemi, Elliott, and Miller. So we're now down to only 2 players who have not yet won a title, having a chance to win a title, and they won't bowl until the first match. The last match.
Well, 6 shows in a row for Mika. Off to Hammond. Looking for number 7.
But no wins yet. And he's come a cropper in these stepladder finals. Been 1 or 2 errant shots that have cost him.
Well, 237 game 1 for Hess, Clemmer, Lavoie on lane 18. And the 230s or 40s here this game on lane 17 as well.
So we head into practice. Yeah, well, we got a couple more shots actually that have to be thrown by Frankie. We'll see if he decides to do any testing 1, 2, 3 or not. 187 final.
For our number 4 finishers, Brad Miller, Crystal Elliott, and PBA Hall of Famer Mika Koivuniemi.
Next time we'll see Brad will be in a couple of weeks for PBA Tour Trials.
And off goes Frank with a short jog. Well, actually, he's either going to go play Galaga or he's going to go ahead and take another test shot.
I'm going with test shot.
I think Galaga would be more fun.
Incoming number 2 seed going to get their practice.
So many bowlers. The game's not even over yet. All right, that was purely the canary in the coal mine.
Tom Hess, Breanna, Clemmer, and François Lavoie advancing to take on the number 2 seed. Congratulations.
233 officially. Well, our viewing public isn't getting fooled. They're jumping on the Hess Clemmer Lavoie train now.
Well, they see they're hot. They're hot. 235 average through 2 games. We'll see.
Rash is going to start, and they're going to pick that right lane.
Seventeen-time titleist Sean Rash. Next big name to go in the Hall of Fame, without question. His eligibility coming up, what, next year?
Yeah, I think this may be his year.
This year?
It's either this 2025. I think is his. He'll have his 20 years in, which is part of the requirement. He's definitely got the credentials.
Yeah, there's
First ballot.
Yeah, that'll be an easy one. Left lane 1, François nothing. They're sticking with Frankie as the leadoff and finishing bowler. Again, to remind you, in the position round, they used Tom Hess in that spot. A game time decision because they thought that Tom's look was safer than Frankie's, and they were right.
Nicely done on the 3-6-10.
So here's 5-time titleist Bryanna Coté, has won major championship. That was last year's U.S. Women's Open. Out of the Tucson, Arizona area.
Good old Fiesta Lane.
Yeah, man, that's exactly right. Oh, no, that's wrong. She's 8th in the overall PWBA points race. Two championship round appearances this year. No wins this year. Top 15 in average. 4 match play appearances. 4 top 12 appearances.
Was she player of the year last year?
I will investigate that. No, 2021.
21, okay.
I didn't think so.
Makes that spare, no problem.
Yeah, she also a rather accomplished player on Team USA, Junior Team USA, and in college at Central Missouri. Meantime, here's the early voting MVP favorite, even though we don't have an MVP. We could always ask, right? We could do a poll. Who's the MVP from the winning team? I would vote for her right now. Broke up with some trouble.
Yeah, 2-8 win, so no impossible dream there. Just a 10-pin. Polls up one more time if you had trouble voting before. Here's your second shot. Looks like results are still very similar. Well, that 2-8, they just like fell out of the way.
Yeah,
right? We don't want to play. We're going. We don't want you to hurt us with the spare.
Yeah, got a little weak need. Hang on, and it hangs on for the McKendree grad. Well, she's got so much experience from all the way back to junior gold, junior Team USA now. I mean, it's just an extensive amount of experience for a young bowler in her mid-20s.
She's almost ready for a second page on the website as well.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is her 4th professional year. She has the 1 win. You darn well know that there's more coming. Just too good not to. And John Rakoski's not messing around. 2-time PBA 50 titleist, including a major this year, the USBC Senior Masters in Las Vegas. That is a hard tournament to win. Tom Hess knows. He's won it. He's in that little room of people who have both a USBC Masters and a USBC Senior Masters. There are 4 of them.
Tom Hess, Chris Warren, Parker
right.
Bohn.
Right. I'm thinking about that one too, and I know this, but I'm just drawing a blank. Wow. Beautifully piped into the pocket for Tom.
Yeah, I'm thinking Sutar, but I don't think that's right. It's an older player. Somebody in the chat knows. That's why we love our BowlTV community. They give us information as well. 1 pin differential right now. Sean Rash gets up in frame number 4. Struck his first shot.
It is Sutar. Oh wait, wait. I've got Walter Ray, Sutar. It doesn't mention Chris Warren here, but I thought Chris did do that. But you're right. Bingo on Dave Sutar. Nice job.
Give me a T-shirt.
Well, Sean Rash should be a little disappointed there.
That ball went through the pins a little funky.
Little bit. Overwhelming near landslide victory in the poll anyway for the team that's won the first 2 games. The evidence for the judges in our audience, they like what they see. And how can you not?
Boy, look at those eyes. Just focused on the target. Head never moves.
Oh, wow. Big trip around the world for Frankie. Took a while for that ball to get there, but it did.
Tom over there real quick. You see? All right, what'd you see there, Frankie? What was the difference? He's explaining it. Well, that was like 22-23.
Had been taking care of business. That was a huge strike. You know, you don't want this other team to feel too good about themselves and feel like they can roll you as they've rolled the others. You got to send them a message that we're in this match. Bryanna Clemmer doesn't read messages. Not while she's bowling. Breanna is just smashing it right now.
Rakoski up for his second shot of this semifinal match. Struck on his first ball.
He took a pretty direct approach, too. Oh, okay. Take it. That is a lot of emotion from John right there.
That looked a lot like Frankie's carry. So, hey,
Yep.
You get one, we get one. John's always had one of those little trick releases where he doesn't, when everybody starts going left, he doesn't have to quite get that far. He can keep it in front of him, keep it in play. Been on the PBA 50 tour for 2 years, has 2 wins, one of them a major.
That was not long ago. 2 months now. And, surprise 4-pin for Tom Hess. Maybe nobody more surprised than Tom. Don't. Oh, there's just so many pelotas out there that Tom had to work really hard to get a spare ball. And as expected, nice little game going on here.
Shaw can strike here. The team will have a little lead.
I don't know if anybody's had a lead on Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie. Not at this point in either of the first 2 matches. Sean's going to take a wide route and bury them.
Yeah, watching Tom shot and Sean shot, one on each lane there. I don't know if you can throw it too far right now. I mean, just get your feet in the right spot and let it go.
Well, we may find out. Somebody may tempt fate with that, but you're right. This is kind of how things broke. And this is only the 3rd game on this pair. Obviously, there's been practice and all of that, but yeah, it's this hook is starting to look very familiar.
You can't throw it much better than Sean just did on that last shot.
Don't go through the nose. This is doable for François. Fly that 3 into the 7.
I think Frankie's one of the players that goes like straight at it, straight across a 3-6-10. There's two different ways to make this. You kind of hook towards it, or you just kind of throw straight at it, and it's just about the angle. But I think Frankie's a guy that likes to go straight across. I'd put this at a 45% make rate for François.
Oh, no, he went wide of the 3. That's a shock. I did not see that coming. And is this their first Open?
I believe so. Yeah, they're averaging over 235 a game.
Yeah, I don't think they've had an open frame until
shot
then.
A few spares.
It looks like it skids a little and didn't make that one little turn. All right, well, this little rally was helped a great deal by Coté with the strike in the 5th. Whoa, really? Oh, my. See that angle of the ball. It's just
steamrolled the 8-pin.
Yeah.
Had no thoughts of deflecting.
all right, as expected.
But even that spare ball, you saw the friction out there. That ball faced up a little bit. I mean, it wasn't going to hook past it, but it definitely had some friction underneath it.
232 is on the books, possibly, for Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie. 239. So this is still pretty tight. Well, I just expect her to strike every single time. She hasn't, but I think she struck on every ball but one. Maybe two at most. Just a tremendous performance. So we've got Bryanna and Breanna. So, and that's Bryanna right there. Man, that was sweet. Rakoski last time kind of got away with one.
A little more room.
Well, he made a nice little adjustment there, didn't he?
Sure did. So you know what? There's friction to the right. I can't miss left. I'm just going to throw it right and watch a hook. Just like that.
That was a smart shot by John. It'll be up to Sean Rash to finish. It'll be up to François Lavoie to finish. Tom Hess can set a big table right here if he can put 10 away. Got to go. It does. And a big strike, because if he hadn't struck, all Sean Rash would have had to do was mark.
See how Tom gave that plenty of room.
Yep.
Just fed it to that spot down lane. Let the ball do the work.
However, Sean Rash can shut him out. 2 strikes, 4 pins will get it done. Anything less than that, and they may lose the game. Okay. Some noise somewhere. I don't know what it was that Sean heard. I heard something myself. I don't think it was anybody moving.
Wasn't me.
No, we're innocent. But we talk about this all the time when we see bowlers on the approach interrupt themselves, and what they all do, the pros go right back as if that never happened. And see what you do. You go back and repeat your process, which is sometimes an overused word in sports, but I think in this instance it's perfect. One more, and you get to meet Parker Bohn III.
And these teams have broken these pairs down pretty nice. Define hook spot down lane, just throw it there.
That's got to go. Oh, it did. And it didn't do that. That angle was so steep. So there's a little hope. But Frankie's look hasn't quite been as sharp as his partners in this game.
Yeah, Frankie's he's gonna have to be firm. He can't just let it float. Try to be tricky with it. He's got to stay aggressive.
All right.
Sean made a quality shot, just didn't get rewarded.
So Frankie's got to double. And after that, he'll need 7. But his last shot is kind of floated. He does have a strike in the 4th frame. He's had 7 spare, strike, and then the 3-6, 7-10, which he did not convert, which is the real turning point of this match. But he can get it back. With 1 more strike and 7 pins. That was a perfect shot. Looked like a completely different approach, and he moved further left.
Got steeper, got it down lane where it needed to be. Gave that ball a chance to do its job, and it did.
It looked like he threw a little harder, too. I think he, understood your point that the last one was kind of lazy getting down there. This one was not.
Well, and then he pays attention. He's watching Sean. He's watching Tom. They're just, staying firm. This is the one right here.
And look at that. Double coverage on that 9-pin. Now he needs 7.
The question's been asked for decades. If there's someone that you need to throw a strike for the win or an important shot, who would it be? What we've seen from Frankie over the last several years, he's got to be on some lists to do that. Just never seems to get rattled.
Hard to believe that it's been a couple years since he's picked up a title. 3. May end right here. They have one more match. He needs 7 on this ball first. Let's see what his approach is on this, how aggressive he is, or careful.
7 for the win.
Smart. Smart. I love the way he did that. He didn't do that down the middle nonsense. Throw the ball that worked before. So it's going to be a 3rd win for Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie. And now they go into the championship match against Bohn, Runk, and Knowles. Whatever you thought about, it's going to be tough with big spinner lefty with power with Justin and Parker's game. It worked out pretty well. They want to start. Let's see who the anchor is here. I mean, you think it's going to be Parker, but he will happily step aside if he thinks Justin Knowles is the man.
Yeah, Justin's had some experience on TV. U.S. Open a couple years ago, several times with the PBA League, Motown Muscle.
However, let's go with the winner, the proven winner.
And our poll's a little bit closer this time. It's neck and neck, just about 50-50.
No, Parker
is. The fans think
Parker's going to influence a few votes. Whether he bowls well or not, we don't know yet. But he's going to certainly bring in his people. I think it's going to be Hess and Clemmer and Lavoie by a nose here. But let's see what he's got. Okay. Yeah, their left lane is going to play a lot differently now.
I think ultimately it was just what lane does Alexis like the best? The only righty on that team.
Right.
Which one's good for you?
Yeah, that's a great point because Parker and Justin can adjust. Looks like it's still the hot team that's won 3 straight. They're going to stick with Frankie in the first and last position. In this case, if you are first, you are also last. A reverse Ricky Bobby. And an unusual strike. Take it.
This one never gets out there, and it hits the left side just in the right spot.
Yep, head pin chopped out the 5 and the 8. Here's Alexis.
About 23-11.
Oh, no.
9 pin.
Absolutely deserved that.
Good deep knee bend, follow through. That ball just keeps going left and doesn't stop.
Yeah. Give her credit. Her first shot was pure. All right.
She's definitely going to have a story to go home to her For student athletes to tell here as the bowling season kicks off later this fall.
By the way, for Tom Hess, if he pulls this off, his 9th PBA 50 title puts him in with Pete Couture and Bob Glass.
Rare air there.
And one below Amleto. Be Brianna's 2nd national title and François' 6th.
And a big one for Parker as well. For number 12.
Number 12 on the 50 tour. Absolutely right. And he would join Tom Baker, Gary Dickinson, and Dale Eagle. And Parker has a win this year. And the Villages? That's a tough tournament to win. Those long days there. A lot of games.
Even through 2. Strike 9 spare. Both teams. Our first look now at Justin Knowles. Justin looking for his first title. This one could be a little special. His wife Jocelyn is here. They're celebrating a wedding anniversary tomorrow. So happy early anniversary. Be a nice present.
Picked up a couple of PBA regionals. He's a big name in Michigan bowling.
All he does is bowl. Nonsense. I can't tell you how many times I get a text or a message. Got any tournaments close by? What can I bowl? Can I bowl this event? Can I bowl this event? It's like, take a break. Nope, he doesn't. He's worked hard the last several years, and it's paying off.
Yep, 33 years old.
Grew up in northern Michigan. There was just not a lot of bowling, so he decided that, you know what, if I'm going to take this serious, I'm moving south. And he did it.
3 regional titles. I may have shortchanged him one in the beginning, but he's got 3.
This is what Tom lives for right here.
And he's not going to be bothered by the shortened approach in any way. Yeah, not one bit.
Him and Parker are good buddies as well.
That is true. They are golfing buddies. So there's a friendly tone to this match. Well, obviously, this competition.
Yeah, we had to give them updates last week. They were all golfing during the final qualifying rounds, and
That's
they were
right.
They were potential roll off the World Championships. We're like, all right, keep us updated. What's going on? So we just said, get back here. That's all we had to tell them, because they actually tied for the final spot.
I see.
He was getting that fist pump ready before the ball got there.
Yeah,
he
knows.
knew it.
He's thrown enough that you're not going to really fool him. So. So Parker, the second of the PBA 50 stars to be the anchors. The first was Mika Koivuniemi in the stepladder. Tom Hess did it in the position round. Frankie has definitely been more aggressive since that one shot that went through the nose and left him with a 3-6-10. He's throwing it a little more aggressively. Runk, who got cheated with a pocket hit and a solid 9, as we take a look.
Yeah, made the adjustment after going Brooklyn his first shot, and that is about as good as you can throw it.
Okay, so she's been in the pocket twice. the confidence to walk away from a made spare.
Breanna Clemmer now with an opportunity to open up a nice little lead through the first 5 frames.
Trip 9? No. A lot of traffic around there, though, but she did trip the 4-7. A 4-7-9 would have been ugly.
Well, she got that ball down on lane. Don't even hear it hit. Nice and smooth, strong, powerful release. Got the 4 out, though, so makeable spare. Make the spare. It's 10-pin lead.
Never a doubt. She's riding a high right now, as is her teammates, as are her teammates. And I kind of feel like Justin understands how important this shot is. You don't want these guys running into the field where you can't find them. Well, they may be off and running. It's interesting. We saw today a lot of splits, but in this stepladder final, we really haven't seen very, very many. And that is,
I think one from Danielle, one from Crystal, as long as I can remember.
Frankie had the 3, 6, 7, 10.
Oh, that's right.
You know, but that one's not as drastic as Mika had that 7, 10. But it says, you know, the scores here have been pretty good. But that one hurts. It really gives, and then Tom is just, you've just given that man a tomahawk steak. He likes tomahawk steaks. Oh, past the steak sauce. Big strike for Tom and his team. Yeah, Parker's 2 for 2. He needs one badly here. But again, Tom's got this figured out. The short approach is 0 problem. Ball, 5 rolls out the 9. That's how you do it. That's how you avoid those solid 9s. Now Parker's just killing it. But his team's in some serious trouble.
Doesn't need a steak or steak sauce. Just give him a bacon double cheeseburger. He'll be just fine.
Yet he is in good shape. One of those guys. Frankie is dialed in right now. After that one bad shot, he hasn't missed. Yeah, again, dialed in. And they are closing in.
Clutch double. Hess, Lavoie.
259 is on the board for them.
225.
Yeah, it's getting to be hard. She's thrown 2 great shots and has yet to see a strike for it. 3 great shots and has yet to see a strike for it. That's really brutal. Solid 9, quitter 10, and then a ringer.
Sometimes bowling's just not fair.
Nah, and she's living, I mean, opportunity to win a title. She's thrown 3 excellent shots and may not have anything to show for it. I don't blame her for turning her back on that one.
Well, let's give some credit to the Hess Clemmer Lavoie team. I mean, okay, they got the right lane. Let's put them on the left lane. They got the left lane. Well, let's put them on the right lane. They're just making good shots. They're communicating. If you watch in the background, they're constantly talking after every shot. And that's what you need to do to be a successful team. Not the other teams aren't doing it, but they're just, they're just in a zone right now. Nothing's shaking them.
Well, they're throwing so well. It wouldn't matter what lane we put them on right now. She's just been spectacular, utterly spectacular.
I think we give her the Kelly Award.
Named after the general manager here at Jonesboro. Awarded by the BowlTV staff.
Also a collegiate coach is Bryanna Clemmer.
Yeah.
She is coaching at McKendree.
Oh,
Justin Knowles.
that makes sense.
Another tough shot there. Looks like he's going to have to wait a little bit longer for his first title. Heck of a run. They made a early run in match play, round number 2. Just started winning matches, and all of a sudden, hey, they're in the lead.
Yeah, she's an assistant to Sean Bibby. They moved in when the O'Keefes went to Jacksonville State to start their potential dynasty. So Tom Hess is just about, in fact, he's going to have a lot to say about whether he gets that 9th PBA 50 title, to his credit. We're just about at lockout time here, too, really.
Yeah, 194 the max now for Bohn, Runk, and Knowles. Just any kind of count basically here. And we're going to have another winner.
I got your count right here. How about 9? It's not really going to hurt you, Tom, that it wasn't a strike. A 4th PBA 50 title this year for Tom Hess, tying him with John Janowitz. Again, nothing will affect the points race from this tournament. So JJ still in great shape to be Player of the Year.
That's okay.
That doesn't matter. I mean, he'll hate it, but it doesn't matter. They've already won. Let's give Parker the strikeout to give the crowd something to be happy about. Something extra to be happy about. Parker's done the math. He knows the situation. So let's give a little show here to the fans. Okay.
Always a showman. Even the left side, look how quick that broke down. I mean, Justin was fighting too much hook. Parker on that one as well.
Yeah, I think that was their thought too, right? It had to be. It hasn't been used. We'll try to break this down to be advantageous for us, and we'll send them over to someplace they haven't been for a couple games. And it didn't pan out, but mainly it didn't pan out because the other team was too good is part of it. And yeah, Justin never quite got untied, and Alexis absolutely got hosed on her 3 shots. At least 2 of them were pure. One, okay, you could argue that maybe it could have been a hair or 2 better, but
that 9-pin was pretty solid.
And the ring in 10. I mean, it's a little bit of a what-if match, but nevertheless, the quality of Hess, Clemmer, and Lavoie to run the ladder in this inaugural event makes them #1. They have made professional bowling history to win this Jonesboro Trios combination of the PWBA, PBA, and PBA50 tours. An event that we all hope will be around for a long time to come. And hopefully Hijinx and Jonesboro will be the host. This was their dream to put all this together. All right. So the BowlTV MVP award, who would you vote for? I put in my vote, and I think you all know how I voted if you've been watching.
And I think a lot of people are agreeing with you,
Yeah.
and I as well.
I think it's going to be Ms. Clemmer.
And the second win in this building for François Lavoie.
Yep. One was a regional. And there's your ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Hess, Bryanna Clemmer, François Lavoie, your champions of the inaugural Jonesboro Trios.